We're just going to cover this very, very quickly. Forming a residents' association can be something that can be a very useful first step for lots of other things, and is worthwhile in its own right, because you can form a residents' association much more easily and cheaply than you can set up a company. It gives you an opportunity, a forum to discuss things with other owners and occupiers in the property. It can be a way of exploring whether or not there's enough interest for other more formal statutory steps, such as going down right to manage, looking at enfranchisement. It's not a company, usually, it's just an unincorporated association, a group of people together, but it's important, and we're going to be talking a bit more about democratic and transparent organisations and communications. It's quite important, if you do set one up, to start thinking about a constitution straight away. What's the purpose of this organisation? What are we doing it for? Are we doing it just so that people in the block can get to know each other? Is it that informal? Or actually, are we doing it because we would like to appoint people who will be our representative voice, who will be our voice? We will nominate them to take our views forward to the managing agents, to the right to manage company, to the residents management company. So you can work out what your intentions are. Why might you do it? Well, the main reason why you might look at forming a residents' association is to become a recognised tenants' association or recognised residents' association. And the reason that's important is to do with what we were talking about, the Section 20 consultation. Your landlord cannot, as we've already discussed, go out and run up massive expenses, employ the company that belongs to his son-in-law to do the work at vast expense and just charge you for it. That is not permitted. And the way that is controlled is through the requirement that if they're going to incur an expense, that's going to be, as Chris already said, more than £250, including VAT in a year, or enter into a long-term contract more than 12 months that's going to result in an expense of £100 for any one flat owner, they've got to come and consult with you. If you are a recognised tenants association, your views carry more weight, because during the consultation procedure, you are entitled to put forward the name of contractors that you want them to ask to tender for the work. So you may say, we know that this company will come in and do a really good job. They're local. We've had good recommendations from them from other people. Now, as individuals, you're entitled to put forward the names, but the landlord doesn't have to pick your company. They have to pick a selection, they don't have to pick yours. If you're the recognised tenants association, they have to ask your company for a tender. So it means that you're getting some power about who's actually doing the work, and it won't just be the pet company of the managing agent or the landlord that they've always used and they haven't bothered to go and look at anybody else. They don't ultimately have to pick your company if they haven't provided the best quote, but they have to give you reasons for why they haven't picked them, and they have to give an explanation. So becoming a recognised tenants association is a way of you having a voice, even if you haven't gone down the whole route of having if you're not in the position of having a residents management company, or you're not in the position of being right to manage, it still gives you a voice. So that's really all I wanted to say about that. Chris, do you want to say more about it from the managing agent's point of view of dealing with them?
I think there's the legal rights that a residents association has, but also informally, residents associations are listened to, not just by managing agents, but also by freeholders and developers who, shall we say, are closer or more involved with the particular developments that they are. To give you an example, we've recently taken over management of a development this year. It was a huge development totalling 2,800 units when it's complete, and a residents' association representing 13 people in one block was able to be involved in all of the interview process of appointing managing agents. The developer was also the freeholder in this instance, and the developer really worked quite closely with them and ultimately listened to who they wanted as the managing agent at their development. So really quite a small residents' association who legally didn't have the decision-making power as who the managing agent was going to be, was able to influence who was chosen for a massive, complex development. So they genuinely are listened to by people and are well worth being involved with.
Thomas?
So like with that degree of representation, they weren't a recognised residents association, were they?
They weren't, no, they weren't even a recognised association. But in saying it, the developer or freeholder has to be engaged. You know, in scenarios where the freeholder isn't interested, then it won't have the same effect. But there are a lot of them that are, and also it's fair to say that most, well certainly any good managing agents now will recognise an unrecognised residents' association and listen to what they have to say, because take our own personal perspective, why would we want to do something that the people that live in a development didn't want us to do? We need to listen to their views.
Okay.